Hello, everyone. Welcome to Geeks Not Nerds, the podcast. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
Eric and I were sitting around talking. We were talking about Power Rangers. He brought it up, and we were just kind of jumping all over the place. And I thought we might as well make a video out of this.
Okay, so before we get back to talking about Megazords, I have to tell you about the greatest thing ever that I found. And this is because I watched a bunch of Power Rangers episodes yesterday. And it all started with I'd read that there's an episode where they try to cut around this really weird thing from the original Japanese Sentai. And it doesn't work for 2 frames. And so I put it on. I didn't tell anybody what the weird thing was. We just sat down. We started watching. And the plot for the plot for the American show is Mr. Tickle Sneeze. He's a troll doll that Trini has. And of course, Rita decides to make it alive. And it's scarier as a doll. Like, it's a really creepy doll, but then as a monster, it's not so much. I don't know what the plot is for the Japanese episode that has something to do with a Japanese boy. And when you get to the and like through the entire episode, if you're just watching it because there's something weird in it, you're like, I don't know what's weird about this episode. And then you get to the Megazord fight, and it cuts weird. Like, you'll see like the Megazord move, and that cuts, and you're not really sure why. And then there's 2 shots where you can see a Zord-sized small Asian boy hiding behind the Megazord.
I don't even remember that.
It's on Netflix. It's called something Trolls. It's like Pay the Troll or something like that.
Huh.
If you go to the Megazord fight and pay really close attention, there's a shot where you can see a small Asian boy hiding behind the Megazord's leg.
See, I've watched a decent amount of early Mighty Morphin somewhat recently because I was showing Power Rangers to my kid, and
It's one of the pre-Tommy episodes.
Yeah, I thought that was an early one. I remember the doll, but yeah, I didn't know about that. That's really funny. Something Eric was telling me about before we started recording is that they put out a Power Rangers Trivial Pursuit. I must have this.
Yeah, me too. It's got really cool cover too.
That sounds great. And is it everything?
It is everything through to Megaforce.
Man. But see, then I don't think I'd really play it, because who would I play it with?
You would play it with me.
Yeah, I'd play it with you, but then...
Trivial Pursuit is not a game that you need to be in the same room to play, although we would have to read your own cards.
Yeah, we would, oh yeah. We would both probably need a set to really do it right.
Yeah, well, I'm going to buy it and play it with my friends who know almost nothing about Power Rangers, so...
That's hilarious. Well, because the thing is, I mean, I know Mighty Morphin, and I mean, like, I know an embarrassing amount of Power Rangers for my age.
So do I, but I'm all over the place. Although I felt really good because I watched the Once a Ranger, Always a Ranger from Operation Overdrive, where Adam comes back. And I was watching, I was like, this must be what adults feel like, because I have no idea what's going on. Because I've never seen that series. I was like, there's just people jumping around, shooting each other, yelling things. I don't know what's going on. Oh, hey, there's Adam. I know who he is.
See, I'm one of those people who, with Power Rangers, I don't do this with a lot of other things, but like with Power Rangers, I totally have my own canon. You know, I'm one of those people that's like, okay, I like the seasons I like, and that's all I care to know anything
Which
about.
is annoying, because there's really good seasons that you ignore.
Yeah, but the thing is, would I think they're that great with all of my life behind me now? Or did I need to have watched them when they were
Okay, here's the thing. Because I've been rewatching Lost Galaxy. It doesn't hold up as much as I want it to. And the Magna Defender is one of the single funniest things ever. Because I remember him being really cool, and he's not at all. He is like a caricature of what a kid thinks is a cool guy.
right?
He does have the darkest backstory of anyone ever. The bad guy murders his son before him, and then throws him in a crevice for 3,000 years, which is really dark. But if you've ever seen the Magna Defender, his son is like him but little and cute, so it's not that sad, because it's this little cute Power Rangers looking boy.
Man, it sounds like they needed to just give Zeltrax that backstory, and then he really would be the greatest supervillain of all time.
So it doesn't...
Although I still like Zeltrax's backstory.
It doesn't hold up as much as I want it to. And there's a lot of, like there's literally an episode where the Rangers are like... I think it's the girls get kidnapped, and then the guys show up with motorcycles, and they're like, what are these? They're like, these are our new power cycles. Where did they come from? We're not going to answer those questions.
It's not important because it's a toy commercial.
Well, and there's a lot of that. Like, I didn't remember that, but like, there's a lot of that where like just we have rocket launchers now.
One of the things that always cracks me up about Power Rangers is that things that are brand new become completely vital because they exist now.
My favorite things are the ones that are brand new and then are never mentioned again. Like, they're the best weapon you could possibly have, but we're never going to use it after this episode. Those are my favorite ones.
Because it's like this. It's like this even with Rangers, right? Where they did just fine with 5 until Tommy showed up, and now nothing can be done without that guy.
Well, they do a little bit until he runs on screen.
No, they do, but you'll have episodes where Zordon's like, "We'll never get through this fight without Tommy," and I'm like, "Well, why? Like, did Zed really ramp up his whole operation that
I think
much?"
he had more powerful monsters. Actually, something that I came
They
to the
claim that he did, but then you have things like you'd have episodes where I don't know. Jason was watching one the other day, and I can't remember. I think it was like late season 3, where Zordon. Oh, I know what it was. Zordon was like we've got to fix Ninjor. Like we can't get through this fight without that. I'm like, Ninjor is not even a regular thing that you usually have with you. Why do you have to have Ninjor right now?
I did find my favorite Power Rangers monster ever the other on Halloween. We were looking for something Halloweeny on Netflix to watch. We decided to watch. We were looking for that Lord Zed Monster Bash thing that I guess was only a VHS tape. It wasn't an actual episode.
They put it on Netflix in the rotation somewhere.
Is it?
I
I went through all of the episodes and I couldn't find. There's an episode called Zed's Monster Mash, but that's not the
right.
clip show episode where he just thinks about all the times he tried to kill the Rangers.
Oh, maybe they didn't put that up there.
So
Man, I know what you're talking about. Though. I want to see that
we
again.
watched Monster Mash, and it has a monster that has an upside down pumpkin head. And like the whole episode takes place in a graveyard, and there's like a tombstone monster, and then this monster with an upside down pumpkin head, and he raps. All of his dialogue is rhyming like rap.
Man, that's hilarious. It's been a while since I've seen that. That's hilarious.
I'd never seen the episode. I'd only seen it, ironically, in that clip show episode. They cut to this episode, and show like a clip of it. But
Did you ever see the Christmas special where we find out that Santa Claus exists in the Power Rangers
and it's
universe?
never brought up ever again.
Nope. It's pretty great.
Um,
And I don't think the Rangers morph more than one time.
it's
Or
Dreaming of a White Ranger, which was actually where I was first introduced to Rito. Like as a kid, I didn't watch it for a while, and then I like one of my friends had that tape, and I was like, "Who's this cool skeleton guy?" And then he's like a bumbling buffoon, and he's not really as cool as he looks.
yeah, one thing I was always really surprised by is that, in my opinion, some of the coolest things they did were when they had to reinvent the movie to put in episodes.
Yeah, with all the ninja stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising that that stuff wasn't lame, in comparison to the rest of the show. Like,
Well, you know what I found out? You know the chick in the movie?
yeah, Dulcia?
Yeah, she was originally a completely different actress.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Have you seen the pictures?
No, I haven't.
Oh, there's pictures. And the other chick looks way better. She's the chick from Law and Order SVU, who I've totally got a thing for. But and she looks great in the outfit. But there's this elephant monster in the pictures that was never in the movie. I don't know what he was. I don't know what role he served.
That's great.
Um, that movie was a mess. Like it just they started shooting without mouth guards and visors because they thought that would look better because they could act better. And then someone got there and was like, "Hey, this looks dumb," and they put them back. Also, apparently, what I found out about the movie because they had to make the new costumes, the lip parts of the helmets are molded on their actual lips. Like that's their lips you're seeing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know what significance that has. I don't know if it makes the helmet more comfortable, but
They just sometimes people will be making movies and they will come up with things like that so that you and I can go, oh wow, really?
Oh, that's interesting trivia.
That's interesting. You know, when you told me that they made a Power Rangers Trivial Pursuit, I was like, oh man, that sucks because I've always wanted to do a Power Ranger trivia book.
But this one's more inclusive. It's not just your canon. It's
No,
not
but I mean,
just Mighty Morphin through Turbo and Dino Thunder.
no, I know, because my trivia book, if I did it the way I really want to, where it would be the most fun for me, it would be like all the stuff that has Tommy in it and nothing else. Like it wouldn't only be questions about trivia, but it would basically be called like the Power Ranger trivia
It
book
wouldn't
of
be questions
things that
about trivia.
or about Tommy. Excuse me. Yeah,
I want a
it would
trivia book where every question's about trivia.
yeah, we need a trivia book that's actually trivia about trivia.
How many
But no,
trivia books are currently being published in America today?
yeah, because that would sell well. Uh, but no, in all seriousness, though, I was when I eventually get finished with my comic book trivia book, I had thought about doing a Power Ranger one, and I really was going to go through everything and do trivia. So I kind of hope that some of the questions are really bad, so there'll be a reason for that book to exist.
There are some of the questions are actually the answers are wrong. And apparently there's a lot of spelling mistakes.
Oh man, really?
If you go to the Power Rangers wiki, it lists all of the incorrect answers. Apparently, they had a lot of trouble with Time Force and Wild Force. Like, there's a couple of questions where those are switched.
Oh no!
Yeah, which
Oops.
leads into a weird situation. If if you're playing the game, okay, I know the actual answer is Time Force, but the card says Wild Force. What do I answer?
Man, yeah. Somebody should have proofread that. It
Yeah.
sounds.
Well, what's weird is because they got fans to do the questions, and I guess they also offered to proofread it, and then they were told no, and they just put the product out.
Oh, so yeah, so it's lazy.
But looking at the Wikipedia page, it's only like maybe 10 questions out of like 500 questions.
I was gonna say, how many did they write? Because like, if I did that book, it'd be like 2,000 questions.
I want to say there's I want to say there's like 20 for each season.
Oh, see, I'd have done more than that. Okay, I could still write my book.
It might be more. I don't know. Well, but still, there's, going back a minute where I was talking about how Lost Galaxy doesn't exactly hold up. RPM totally holds up, and I still think you should watch that one, especially since apparently it has now been retconned to be its own continuity. Because
See,
apparently,
that immediately makes me care less.
well, I don't. It doesn't have to be its own continuity. I guess when Saban bought the rights back, they just decided. I just think it could take place a little bit further in the future because it opens with the bad guy having already won. The entire world is Mad Max, except for one domed, essentially Angel Grove. Um,
Yeah, I've seen the pilot. I thought it was okay.
it's
Production values were impressive, but
it's
like,
really
or
good.
for
Like as
Power
it
Rangers,
keeps going, it gets better and better.
it just didn't feel like Power Rangers, and that's the problem I have with a lot of the later series. But I've not sampled them very much. It's just the like, it's not my thing anymore. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
Like, I like the early stuff because it was nostalgic, and I like. But the thing was, I liked Dino Thunder because it was nostalgic, but then it was decent.
Yeah, but I think that, see, I think the problem is that a lot of the other Power Rangers shows that are genuinely good are not about teenagers with attitude, and I think you want teenagers with attitude. And by attitude, I mean goody two shoes. But
Well, yeah, kinda.
I
I
I
mean,
started watching Megaforce, and that's in the pilot. They say, "Get me teenagers with attitude."
yeah, I saw that pilot, and it really rubbed me the wrong way.
I thought it was, well, it has the single best opening ever. I mean, they stole it from Kamen Rider Decade because that's how Kamen Rider Decade opens, which is all of the Kamen Riders fighting, and then a character wakes up, and you're like, "What was that?" But it's okay. I don't know. Saban really wants to recapture Mighty Morphin, and they don't know
Well,
how to do it.
they should, yeah, then they should just straight up do it. Well, the first step is to not be cynical. Because I saw that pilot, and the thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, I'm sure nobody else this would even bother, but it bugged me. They had this scene where one of the eventual gonna be Rangers walks into the juice bar and hands the guy behind the counter a 20, and he takes the 20, and as if it was a 50 or a 100, he puts it up to a light to make sure it's
Yeah,
real.
I thought that was really funny.
I couldn't deal with that.
Really?
Yeah, that's so cynical to me. That bugs me a
Oh, I
lot
didn't
to me
think
as a
that
kid.
was cynical. I thought that was kind of just like, well, they're kids. Because he hands
But
him like a 20. He's like, a 20? I've never seen you use one of these before.
yeah, but that was it was awkward, and but the guy behind the counter wasn't a kid.
No, but
Yeah, I don't know, man. That kind of thing really
I
bugs
thought
me.
that
Like,
was
like
weird. I didn't think it was cynical.
well, I think that's too strong of a word, probably. But I'm
Do you
saying
think
cynical.
that they're saying that all kids are thieves and therefore they're checking the kids' monies?
No, I don't like that they're doing that in a kids show and making kids think about stuff like that. It bugs me. It's like we've got to like perpetuate this idea where like we can't trust anybody. I really resist that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was like that guy had, like that guy used to work at a grocery store and that's just what he did.
But nobody does that with 20s.
No, not with 20s, but I don't know.
So it had the Power Ranger awkwardness to it.
Doesn't that make it a good thing?
I
Hey, I'm just saying, you're a
that's
fan
I
of
don't
the
know. I just
series. You're a fan of the series that has kids in high school having show and tell days. You want to talk
yeah.
about
Well,
cynical?
well. Also, it's not fair to see the word fan. I must use really loosely when it comes to Power Rangers because it's not the
Because
kind of
it's
thing
gonna
where
come back to bite you like Spawn.
well, here's the thing. I wouldn't turn it on now at 29, having never watched it before,
Oh
and
no,
like
absolutely not. That show is can only be watched. You know what? I think if you're looking to watch something bad, I think Power Rangers actually might work like that as an older adult. Like I could totally see people like getting stoned and watching Power Rangers that never.
yeah, but I don't know. I get the problem is that because it's such a nostalgia fest for me, because the thing that would bring me back to watching it again is the nostalgia of it. It's hard to watch it now, to watch a version of it now that has present day sensibilities. That's really tough for me. And that's the only reason I mentioned that scene, because that kind of embodies everything that makes it tough for me to watch that show now.
Well, you don't have that with RPM because it's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, but like I said, that thing just didn't feel like Power Rangers to me, so it didn't occur to me to watch more of it.
It's it. I would recommend you go watch the episode called Ranger Blue, and just if that episode doesn't get you, that's you're not gonna like that series.
All right, that's cool.
Um,
But again, because of like I said, because of the fact that Power Rangers wouldn't appeal to me now had I never seen it before, it's just hard to get me excited to watch a new one. I mean, the only reason I saw the first episode for I don't even know why I watched that one, but the only reason I saw the first episode for
I
Megaforce
assume it's because
is
everyone
because
told you that Gosei was trained by Zordon.
no, I didn't even know that going
Oh,
into it.
okay.
A friend of mine who keeps up with Sentai was like oh man, they're doing all the old cool Mighty Morphin stuff, and then I watched it and I said no, they're not. They just want you to think they are.
I will say, and this has nothing to do with Power Rangers. It's all about the Sentai. I love the costumes for Megaforce. I don't know what it is about those costumes, but I really dig them. There's something about them that looks really cool. Um,
Yeah, I mean, they look like Power Ranger suits. I don't know. Nothing jumped out at me.
I don't know what it is. There's something about that design. I can't identify it. There was something about the design where I'm like, these look cool. Uh,
I think the reason that I like Dino Thunder so much, even watching it later, I mean, even watching it, in my 20s, was not just that Tommy came back. Like it could have been unwatchable with that, but it was two big things. First of all, I actually liked the cast in that show, and a lot of the time I think that Power Ranger actors just straight up can't
I have
act.
that with RPM. I think RPM is a good cast.
For Power Rangers, I felt like those three were legitimately decent actors. And also they tried to give them like not just like differentiating personality traits, but also like interests and things. They felt sort of like real people, but also it was Zeltrax. I bought Zeltrax's action figure.
Did you?
Oh yeah, man. I loved that character. He was hilarious. Because I mean like that, and also it was a bonding experience for me and my sister because Lindsay and I were watching that together, and because you know, my sister, my brother, and I grew up on Power Rangers, and when that came back, and I said, Lindsay, you got to see the new Power Rangers. She's like, why would I do that? I said, Tommy's back. She's like, what? So we watched it together, and we both thought Zeltrax was great. So we'd walk around going, Tommy, Oliver.
I feel really bad for Saban now, with their new Power Rangers.
Yeah,
Well, because they did Samurai and then they did Super Samurai, and everyone kind of scoffed at that.
yeah.
And then they're doing Megaforce and Super Megaforce, but Super Megaforce is a different show, and everyone's angry about that. And they're kind of screwed because not Netflix, Nickelodeon only gives them a 22 episode season, and they're adapting like a 40 to 60 episode show. So if they do it in 2 seasons, everyone thinks they're trying to milk money out of them. But when they do it in 1 season, everybody's still angry at them, and I feel bad for them. Um,
Yeah, well, they might be able to get away with stretching those 60 episodes into 3 seasons.
but people are angry that they stretched it to 2. People
Yeah,
were,
but if they changed the titles, maybe nobody would notice. I'm
well,
kidding.
it'd still be the same costumes. Well,
No, I know. Yeah,
next
that's the tough.
season is the one I've been waiting for, and I'm kind of angry that's a continuation of Megaforce because I have a friend who has an obsession with pirates. Um,
Yeah,
and I've been telling him for years, I'm like, space pirates, man, it's coming. You're getting Power Rangers Space Pirates, and it doesn't look like they're going to be doing the space pirate thing, despite the fact that their costumes are clearly. Well, you know what? You know what comes after the space pirates, right?
no, I don't. That was the last thing I knew about it.
Oh, it's called Go Busters.
Okay.
It's Power Rangers Ghostbusters.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool.
I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's weird because literally everything else I've ever heard about, because I've never seen the Sentais really, like I kind of know what happens, but everything I've ever heard about, it's like, okay, well, it's like Power Rangers Treasure Hunters, or like, okay, it's Power Rangers Cops. All of that makes like a logical like leap. Power Rangers Ghostbusters is
Yeah, we're just gonna rip off a single prop. Like Ghostbusters is not a genre.
no. Also
I
they have
can't get
leather
past.
costumes.
I cannot. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, I gotta go back to something you said earlier because I can't get over the title Super Megaforce. You know what I mean?
Megaforce is a lame title, and now it's Super Megaforce.
Draw the line, how redundant is that? How is something both super and mega? Super mega ultra force,
Force.
yeah, forcey force. Like, it's getting goofier and goofier. You remember back when making something metallic immediately made it cool? Remember Beetleborgs metallics?
Yeah, with an X.
Yeah. It was like, oh, that's cool. That's gonna get more people to watch it. Here's an idea. How about Beetleborgs doesn't need a show change title? I mean, title change.
Well,
Like, real.
it does because they ran out of footage.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, they ran out of footage for the series that Beetleborgs is based off of, so they had to pick another series.
So they actually pick another series, or did they have to film their own footage?
No, it's another series, and then that series, because that was a series called Metal Heroes, and there was like 4 or 5 of them. It's actually the same series that they used for VR Troopers.
Oh, okay. All right.
The one that Beetleborgs Metallics is based off of was the last one they made, so they just didn't have any more footage. That's why Beetleborgs stopped. It wasn't that Beetleborgs was unsuccessful; it's that they didn't have any more footage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and with Masked Rider, they were denied any more footage because the creator of Kamen Rider hated Masked Rider so much. Um, it's not as bad as everybody says it is.
Yeah, I never watched VR Troopers.
I've never seen it. My only
Yeah.
connection with VR Troopers is Jerry Maguire. Have
Okay.
you ever seen Jerry Maguire?
Yeah, but it's been since
Okay,
like.
there's a scene. It's really early on in the movie that it's like his scene where he realizes that he's a scumbag. Where one of the players he represents is in the hospital, and he goes out to talk to the player's son, and he's got a VR Trooper shirt, and he goes, "It would take all 5 of the super VR troopers to stop your dad from staying in the hospital. And the kid's like, "You're a loser," and like walks away. That's my only connection with the VR troopers. I know
Wow,
nothing
I
else
didn't
about them.
realize anything dated that movie quite that much. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
that one really did. Well, what's funny is I think by this point, it just, I think most people watching it now would just think that that was a made up kids property.
I bet so, because I bet a lot of people now don't even know what VR Troopers was, but it's more popular than I think, or it was more popular than I think a lot of people realize.
I always assumed it had a fan
It
base.
was,
I just
it was
wasn't it.
not huge, but it was one of those things where yeah, I didn't know anybody that watched it, but but apparently people watched
Well, the
it.
thing is, I never knew anybody that watched it, and I never watched it, but I knew it existed.
But I mean, like
I don't
it
know
had
where it aired
merchandising.
or
I
when it
saw it.
aired.
That's what's weird. Is I saw advertising and stuff for it all over the TV, but for whatever reason, I never actually watched it.
I don't ever remember seeing it on TV. I remember like ads on like VHS tapes and stuff like that. Um, oh, can I just tell you a small Power Rangers memory that I have that
Yeah,
I was jogged in my head when I was looking for the troll episode. I was
yeah.
going through the list of episodes on Netflix, and there's an episode called it's like Clowning Around or something like that. I had you know how they released those unbelievable ripoffs, and I can't believe anyone paid for them, where it was a one episode tape,
Yeah.
and each one had a ranger on it, and then like the monster for that episode on the covers. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Okay, so for some reason I had the Pink Ranger one. Like somebody bought it for me.
Okay.
The episode's about training, and
Really?
they never formed the Megazord, and that annoyed me so much as a child that somehow I got an episode where they don't form the Megazord.
That's really funny. One of the things that always surprises me about Power Rangers is that you would think it would be the sort of thing where there would never be anything quality that actually went with it. But not only were the toys really good, but it had decent video games.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one of the things I remember most growing up is not just watching the shows, but playing the video games. I mean, the Super Nintendo game is still a decent beat 'em up slash side scroller, and of course the fighting game. The I forget what it was called. If it was tournament fighters or what it was with the no that was Ninja Turtles.
I
But there
love
was a
Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters because there's a
yeah
character named Chrome Dome, and I have no idea where he came from. He's just a
there
robot shredder.
there is a. Have you ever played the Megazord fighting game?
I believe so, but I would have been really, really young.
Oh well, you should totally find it like an emulator or whatever, because it's pretty cool. Because it was late enough that it was like late third season, so you got the or at least early third. You got the Shogun Megazord and you got the Ninja Megazord
I
and
hate the Ninja Megazord,
you got well, and in the game it was weird because it's the tiniest of them.
as it should be because it sucks. I think we talked about this when we did the commentary. I hate the Ninja Megazord because it doesn't have a face.
Yeah, and it really does just look like five animals stacked on
Yeah,
top of each other.
it's I this is actually what started this, and then we never actually talked about it. Was we were talking about the Zords. I think for the most part, I'm really good at separating myself from nostalgia. I think I'm able to go back and look at things with a more critical eye than most people are. I think the first Megazord is the best Megazord they've ever had, and I don't know whether it's actually a really cool design or if I'm just completely blinded by nostalgia.
I don't know. I mean, I still really love it.
I haven't I've watched a lot of Power Rangers. I've seen a lot of Zords. I like some of them. I don't like any of them as much as I like the original. And I don't like because I kind of go back to like in Japan, that was just another series. Like that wasn't special for them. And so I'm like, is that Megazord special? Or is it just that that was so connected to my childhood?
See, I think that at this point in my life, I don't have a difficult time going back and looking at things that I'm nostalgic for and like seeing what might not work that I thought worked before. But it doesn't always kill my enjoyment of it either. So like I can still go back and watch Power Rangers and like it, but I mean I recognize that ain't good storytelling.
Well, you know what's really funny is
But
I thought I had that with everything until I watched Transformers the movie with a friend of mine. because I've always said that Transformers the movie is the single greatest animated film of all time. Um,
And you're wrong.
oh, it's amazing. Except what I didn't realize is that movie makes no sense if you don't know anything.
Oh
Like
yeah,
literally, if you just go in knowing, well, I know who Optimus Prime and Megatron are, you have you they there's I think there's 85 characters in that movie,
totally.
and like
Transformers.
40 of them die in the first 10 minutes. Like, and then there's a giant planet eating robot that shows up, voiced by Orson Welles. Um,
That's awesome.
I was playing. Have you ever played Cranium?
No.
It's the greatest game ever. I played it for the first time this weekend. It's amazing. It is every other board game combined together. It's Pictionary, it's charades, it's trivia. It's amazing. Um, and one of the questions was, who directed what's the greatest movie of all time? I keep wanting to go Schindler's List. That's not it. What's the one that everybody's like, well, that's the greatest movie ever made?
Oh. Well, now that you now that
Exactly
you said
right.
Schindler's List, I can't think of it. No. You're talking about Manos's favorite film.
Rosebud.
Yes.
Um, that one. Anyways, which by the
Citizen
which
Kane.
it's Citizen Kane, which by the way, Citizen Kane opens with one of the biggest plot holes of all time. Just saying. Um,
Yeah, but it's a good film.
it might
So
be a great film. It opens with a giant plot hole. Just saying.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I bet your favorite movies have giant plot holes.
there are no plot holes in Lethal Weapon because there is not a discernible plot. Um,
Dude, that's a cheat. That doesn't count. Anyway, I'm sorry. What
okay,
were you going
okay.
to
So the
say about
question
Crane?
the question was who directed Citizen Kane?
Citizen
Who directed
Kane.
Citizen Kane? And my friend went to answer it, and I just looked at him. I said, Unicron. And then he almost failed the question because he couldn't not think Unicron.
That's really funny.
Actually, that was not Cranium. That was a different game. That was an actual trivia game. Now that I think about it, because we played a bunch of games over the weekend. But Cranium is amazing. It's you have to buy it and play it with people. I've never endorsed a board game before. I'm endorsing this board game.
That's funny. We were gonna spend this whole time just talking about Power Rangers, but it's turned to Power Rangers and board games
Well, it kind of ties into Power Rangers Trivial Pursuit.
because we got the Power Rangers Trivial Pursuit in there. Yeah, that's hilarious.
It made me really curious what other like weird Trivial Pursuits there are. There really aren't any. Like Power Rangers seems to be the one really weird Trivial Pursuit. Like you've got like Star Wars and stuff you expect. Power Rangers is the only like really niche one that I could find. Because I was
yeah, that's out there. You wouldn't expect that.
no, you wouldn't. I was like maybe there's like a Batman Trivial Pursuit or like something. But nope, just Power Rangers Trivial Pursuit with wrong questions.
Earlier when you said that you're pretty you're pretty good at nostalgia, going back and not being too nostalgic for
Almost
things. I was like,
painfully so.
it's like I used to think I was really good at that, and then I did Spawn Year.
Well, but that's not something you really went back to. This is you going back to it and realizing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and that's the thing is that's like one of for me now that's going to lodge into my mind as the most dramatic example of wishing you hadn't returned to something
There's
because it will never be the same. Like I will never remember my nostalgia for that property before I remember Spawn Year. Whereas Power Rangers,
I think
even
with
if
most, I think most times you'll have trouble remembering anything before Spawn Year. What was my life like before Spawn Year?
Whereas, like, I don't think I ever had that moment where I watched a Power Rangers episode and went, "Oh my god, this isn't as good as I thought it was."
Well, I think with Power Rangers, you do go back to it a little bit, knowing that it's going to be cheesier than you remember it being.
Yeah, but like especially with the early stuff for me, because I mean that's what I grew up with. That's what was on, and I was with it from like the second season on. And what I really remember from that show is it's bright, it's chipper, it's colorful. There's a lot of action, and it's got a lot of energy, and it never lost the energy.
Right.
Like that's there, so it's still fun to watch. But it's if it has any distinctive anything, it's the flavor of it. And I can go back and re-experience the flavor of it. It's still fun to watch, and there's no denying that the martial arts was decent.
Well, I mean, most of that was Japanese. I mean, there was
Yeah.
some out of costume martial arts, but most of that was Japanese. Um,
So I mean, like, there's still I guess what I'm saying is there's still people with skills showing you their
you
skills.
know what mostly doesn't hold up with Power Rangers in any incarnation?
Um, I don't know. What are you gonna say?
Zord battles.
In
Unless you
any incarnation?
what?
You think in any incarnation?
Yeah, I'm not saying there are no good Zord battles, but most like of the one and done episodes, Zord shows up, Zord uses special move, monster is gone. Like I feel like Zord battles are almost skippable most of the time. I'm not saying there haven't been good Zord fights because like Serpentera and stuff is great, but most of the Zord fights really not very good in like every series.
Yeah, I can see that. One thing I really don't like about the later series is that because they're CG, it just looks like a cartoon.
They're not.
Some of it is.
They did that with Dino Thunder, but most of the other ones are they'll CG like them like I don't know what you'd call it, Zording up, combining.
See, that's what I'm talking
Oh,
about is the sequence where they come together. It doesn't even look sort of kind of real. It's
no.
really cartoony, and they look like gummy Zords. Like
Yeah,
no.
it's not good CG.
Um, that doesn't hold. I'll tell you a couple things that really hold up for me with Power Rangers if we're gonna go there. Is because I feel neglect. It's been 36 minutes and I've not mentioned Lord Zed at all, and of course that's my favorite
Oh,
thing.
which reminds me, that have you seen that Once a Ranger two-parter from
From what? From
Operation
what?
Overdrive?
I think I have. I don't remember
Because
though.
the villain, I didn't notice the villain is Lord Zed and Rita's son.
Yes, I have seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, and Bulk and Skull are in that,
And he's really disappointing because
yeah,
the
yeah.
Zed part of him looks cool. The Rita part of him looks like Frankenstein, and it doesn't really look.
Well, and it's kind of neat that like he has Lord Zed's staff, and like that's the thing that gives him his powers and everything. But and I like the epicness of that episode. Like for Power Rangers, the production value was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. I didn't finish it. It was a two-parter. I didn't finish it. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. It's really cool that Adam's here, but I have no idea what's going on.
But what I was gonna say is, so a couple things really hold up for me. That suit will always look cool.
The Zed suit? Oh no, it's
Yeah,
amazing. And
that will always
one of the
look cool.
biggest bummers of Power Rangers is that the best he ever looked, he got put in a snow globe.
You know, I don't agree with that. I don't like his movie look
Really?
as well as yeah. I don't know what it is. There's something about his face. He's kind of scrunched up. Like I don't know. He doesn't look right. I like the color scheme. I like how bronzy he is, but or is it bronze or is he more of a silver color?
No, he's like
Like
super shiny silver.
yeah, that's right. I liked that, but there was something about the design of the face that didn't quite work for me. But I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit of a purist when it comes to Lloyd Zed. I just like his original look. But I like Rita's suit in that a lot. That
Yeah.
looks really good. But anyway, so Lord Zed's suit is something that or his look is something that will always hold up for me. The voice, of course, it's scary when they're not being silly with it. It just looks great, and you could totally do a serious thing and have that be there and it potentially work. But the other thing, and people might make fun of me for this. I don't know. The original music that was used for that show by Ron Wasserman still holds up.
Oh, absolutely. Ron Wasserman's a genius.
If you and I don't know if you've done this, Eric. If you go to Spotify, you can listen to that album. He put out remixes of a lot of the music from that show. I think last year or the year before, he cut an album, and he went back and did and did like new versions of all of it and tried to remaster it and make it studio quality because he said that I've read an interview with him and he said that they had to rush all that music out and so it never sounded as crisp and studio quality as he wanted it to, and my kid and I listen to that all the time. It's really good.
I remember when that came out and I couldn't find like anywhere to listen to it, so I just kind of forgot about it. But
Yeah, listen to it on Spotify. They've got it and it's great.
I
And of course, on Spotify, you can listen to entire albums without paying for them and just listen to a couple commercials every now and again.
right.
So, yeah. Anyway, plug for that. It's really really cool. I didn't remember that music holding up as well because I really like late 80s, early 90s circa metal, and there's a lot of Metallica influence there. So a lot of the and since he went back and remastered it and made the songs longer and stuff, he's got some really cool solos.
Well, it's really prog.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.
Almost like before, I feel like prog was like a big thing. Like I know it existed in the 80s, but like it wasn't as much of a thing. Um, but his music's great. He scored my childhood. He also did the X-Men animated series theme.
Oh, I didn't know that was him.
Yeah. Which
So yeah, we listen to his music a lot now, and you'll hear every now and again my kid will be walking around the house going "Hope for the world," and it's hilarious.
I in rewatching those Power Rangers episodes the other day, I decided that if I ever get like filthy rich, like Tom Clancy rich, um, I'm gonna build a house that looks like Lord Zed's tower, or Lord Zed's castle, and occasionally I'm just gonna shine a red beam off the balcony. I'm just gonna shine at things.
That's really funny.
Probably on Halloween, like as kids are coming, I will just shine a red light at them.
And then I'll make okay to counter that. Then I'll make a living room that looks like the command center, and then when people come over to watch TV, I'll be like, "Observe the viewing glow." Well, anyway, everybody, thanks for listening to us ramble on about Power Rangers for a while. Sure hope you enjoyed it. And now Eric and I are going to go record something else.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, that was fun, Eric.
And then we're gonna record about the Easter Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, we still have to do the Easter Phoenix. Okay, well, we'll let everyone wonder what we're talking about. I'm not even going to elaborate. Anyway, thanks again for listening. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
See you later.